1. All right, YouTube, catch up, YouTube. Good evening, folks. We are a few days away from Christmas on this fantastic holiday extravaganza. I'm not like some of the other crazies out there, like Redfish, Bluefish, who's in chat. I'm definitely not streaming on Christmas Day. So, any holiday related stuff will get done tonight. We'll give a few minutes before the announcement just to make sure folks are here. However, I want to talk about something how do I put this? I kind of want folks' input on it. I'll probably put a poll up about this or some other meaning. But so, you guys are familiar. I tested and did some kind of extensive reviews on a light from JC&P. They have a new version of their light that's out now, and they're sending me one to test. Clearly because they want me to talk about it, but part of that came with some interesting stuff. So let me explain. JC&P previously, in order to sell to the United States, because they're in Canada, did so through Amazon. Now they have their own storefront as well that you can buy the lights from, and the stocking's a lot better, because the biggest problem that I got as complaints from you folks was the size I want's not in stock, or are these lights ever coming in stock? Right? On Amazon, because it seemed like certain sizes were out of stock, and then they come into stock and the other sizes would go out of stock. It seemed really hard to get those lights. Where the JC&P folks, when they reached out to me, said, here's our website. Stock's going to be a lot better. Also, we want to give you a referral code for a commission. And here's where a weird conversation happened, and I'm pretty sure it's because it's in text. It was done via Instagram Messenger while I was at work, so it's not the best conversation. But I want to be super transparent with you guys about how I work, in the sense of, as you guys know, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I do occasionally get some stuff for free to test. Examples would be Brightwater and Brightwell. So Brightwater, the media company, they've given me free samples to test, and they've just said, give us your honest opinion. Brightwell has done the same thing with substrate and several of their additives, their fertilizer. I've got some other stuff coming soon on some of the other products I've been monkeying with for quite a while. Just, the usual stuff, right? JC&P has sent me one light. It's sending me a second, because the first light that I got from a viewer was smaller than the tank I was testing it on to be correct, which I'm probably going to give some of those lights away. Some way, shape, or form. I'd probably have to do it locally, but anyway, it's a horrible problem to have more lights than you need. So they offered me the kind of an affiliate like what you do through Amazon, right? And here's my thing. I was trying to tell them, I really don't want to have an affiliate, because if there is a perception that I stand to make money off of this, other than the standard boring every YouTuber does Amazon thing, right? That there is a fear that people might think I'm not being fully honest, right? And I work as a software and hardware test engineer for a living, so when I test things, it's based on what I would do professionally for work. So I'm always trying to mess with things and monkey with stuff, and I do this naturally anyway. But when I'm bringing that results to you folks, I want it to be really clear. This is my relatively scientific test methodology. It's not true perfect science, but it's what is done professionally for software and hardware in the computer industry and game industry too. But more importantly, I'm very unfiltered about my opinions. I very rarely am going to ever hold back. And about the only time I hold back my opinions is if somebody asks me, is trying to purposely get me to be inflammatory about another YouTuber, right? I don't like talking down about YouTubers. I'll talk down about a product all day long because those are massive companies that make tons of money, but each person has their own opinions, and I don't like being ever potentially inflammatory toward another person, individual. So that's kind of like the only line I draw. And I kind of wanted to like describe this, guys, to you. It's one of the things, like a lot of the YouTubers that I find very interesting in very different realms than fish. A great example is in the camera world, a guy called Gerald Undone, which if you're into cameras, guy's phenomenal. He does all these crazy reviews. He's way more scientific than I could ever probably hope to be with fish equipment. But, you know, one of the things that he's really good about is his videos, the way that he does stuff is when stuff's provided to him, the companies that provide stuff are not allowed to see his videos before they go live, which is something that I do as well. I don't send them to anyone. It goes public, and that's my opinion, right? Or my research, my results, whatever it may be, depending on that thing. And sometimes it's a combination of the several, right? But, you know, I'm a 9,000 subscriber YouTube channel. I'm absolutely tiny. So it's one of those things where it's something kind of interesting that has occurred, where it's basically this back and forth of me saying, like, I kind of don't want an affiliate thing because I don't want there to be a perception that this is a way for me to make money. I want my opinion to be very taken very cleanly and simply, and just known that, like, hey, I got a light to test, but other than that, that's it, right? So it was kind of an interesting thing. I'm kind of curious to see your guys' opinions. I'll watch your chat, but we have some announcements. We'll go past that. We'll go past the interesting thing. We'll get to the real announcement. It has nothing to do with it, other than I have another JCMP light coming in, and it's newer. So it's a newer, more economical light option. We'll see what all it can do and what whiz bangs it has built in. It's supposed to be even better than the light I tested before, so that'll be interesting. So you'll see that in a couple months, a month. I don't know. It depends on how long I decide to monkey with it. And then there's a few other things I'm working on. Basically, I have a few days off starting basically right now. So I'm gonna try and like jam a bunch of filming in before the start of the year, when my work will go absolutely insane, more so than usual. So with that being said, guys, welcome. I don't have any like major topics today. We just have a couple announcements, and then we'll do a bunch of Q&A. Oh, and also some giveaways. By the way, I'm gonna reward the early birds today. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go and set up some Nightbot stuff. One sec. Okay. So if you enter this hashtag Dan's Fish into chat now, you will be entered for a drawing for a $50 gift card to Dan's Fish. You do need to be in the United States because that's the only place where he can ship to. So for those of you who are international, don't worry. I have something tonight that will be for the international viewers. Hashtag Dan's Fish. Put that in there. Did it kind of quick. We'll do this drawing relatively soon. This is a reward for you early birds. I have several drawings tonight, just as a heads up. They're going to change each time. So be ready for that. So let's talk announcement while that's rolling in. This chat goes hog wild on me. Okay, so as we know, at the start of the year, start of 2020, I gave you guys a poll, and we made an agreement to do the online Master Aquatic Horticulturist program. My estimate originally was going to take 6 months of time to develop, get it set, and test it before it should be available to the public. I worked on a video game for a little while, which kind of, and you guys only get one vote. It's not going to help you to spam, just a heads up. And then, so I delayed that a little bit, and then, it's getting ready to get started. and human malware hits, and like lockdowns go really hard in my area. So my friends who are developers ended up, as soon as lockdowns hit, most of the tech corporations that we all work for went on these like huge skeleton crews, and all of us started working a ton, absolute ton. So needless to say, none of us could work on the project the way I wanted to, which is that most of us do better in person, meeting, talking, whiteboarding things out, and evolving stuff. So I started doing kind of live streams as a I'm sorry replacement, right? Well, I was hoping 3 months in, maybe that the crazy lockdowns would stop and things would start getting back to some semblance of normal. As we all know, that has unfortunately not happened. And human malware is still a complete pain in the keister. So, recently, I started doing some interviews. I needed to seek outside help in order to get this complete, because my friends who, none of us are web developers, by the way, we all develop things that are not the web at all. So we were kind of like having to, and I'm a tester, not a developer, although I do know how to code. We were all going to be learning this. This is why we wanted like 6 months to work on it, right? We'd be learning this part. We were pretty confident. We needed about a month to figure out what we're doing, understand the differences between what we're familiar with and what we need to do for the web correctly, and then start building this thing. And then we would need 2 to 3 months to build it, because we were all going to work very part-time, basically on weekends, and then about another month to test it and expand the testing to a few folks that I trust in the aquarium hobby who aren't necessarily like tech people, but are aquarium people and could test the plant side of it for me on top of us tech people testing it, right? Well, all that goes out the window, right? So I have, as of today, officially inked a contract with a web developer who is starting this weekend to get that up, alive, and running. The goal is roughly 2 to 3 months, because it is an individual, not a company, but it will take a little bit of time. That person already really has a really clear view of what needs to be done, so they basically get to like start rolling this weekend. We'll be going back and forth a little bit. Basically, I think once a week we'll have a check-in as we're getting through this process, and hopefully early next year, either early March or hopefully bare latest, very tail start of April, that program will be alive. So part of that is I need to thank you folks. The YouTube channel, even though I've purposely designed it to basically make as little money as possible, because I don't do all the mid-roll ads, and I don't ever really push membership or anything like that. I don't do sponsorships. I do none of the things that your YouTubers typically try to do to bring in money, other than the generic before the video advertising. And most of my videos are so long nobody gets to the end, but there technically is an after video advertisement. Almost nobody gets that. But the channel has done well enough in the last 4 months or so, just kind of doing the numbers and the math, which it's not a lot, guys. It's not a lot. In the grand, don't think it's like I'm rich. I definitely could not live off YouTube, but it's enough to contract a developer to get this going. So thank you. Right. So this is going, it's real now. I have like an email over here with a, technically not a full contract. It's a small local web developer. But she, one, is really, really awesome. We had a fantastic interview and chat session where we basically went back and forth with some ideas, talked, and just the vibe was right with her in particular compared to some of the other options, including like a 12-person company down in California. that was offering to do it surprisingly cheap compared to like a single person. But I just kind of wanted somebody who could, one, be local, so that should COVID ever stop being the pain that it is, we can get together and start working toward expanding this program to include other features, potentially a master fish breeding program, which that will take some work to, like, I'll need to work with people like Dean and stuff to like get an idea of what we think is the correct way to do it. Because there's some changes from my Master Aquatic Horticulturist program compared to some of the big fish clubs that are out there. There's like a little bit of influence from MASI, the Missouri Aquarium Society. There's some from Greater Seattle. There's some from the folks in Minnesota. But she's really awesome. She's been kind of gig working. And I think it's kind of also, too, it's like, it felt kind of nice finding the person who wasn't already working full time, that had been kind of like doing gig to gig, to just be like, you know, let's go hand in hand. Let's embrace this thing together and go nuts. So that is the big announcement. The Master Aquatic Horticulturist program is currently in development. Cool stuff. Let's give away a gift card, huh? Huh? Get ready. Hope you got it in. Subscription status private. Our winner today. We'll see if I don't think Nightbot's like fully alive right now, but it's paying attention. I've like restricted it, but just in case, you will need to email me, Connie Woolley. Hopefully you're in chat, paying attention. Connie, I'd like to just see something from you in chat within the next, I'd say, minute or so. And you'll be in on this. Otherwise, we'll redraw. I want to make sure you're here, active in chat. And then you'll have to shoot me an email. And I will set you up with a gift card. That should be pretty obvious. You'll just tell me, I won the Dance Fish one. And you were talking about X. You should know what X is. This is our big announcement. Paige and Connie, are you here? Gotta see you in chat. It's the rules. So, with that being said, we'll start doing some Q&A in a second. And it should we not see anything from Connie? Hopefully we do. Might be a person on... I know, like, some of my family members watch YouTube on a TV, and it's, like, impossible to interact with chat. So, we'll see. We'll see. If an email shows up, then that'll be... Okay. Got an email right away. Okay, I got an email. That's good enough. I'll take the email. Sent from an iPad. All right, a little harder to do chat at that bad boy. No problem. Connie, congratulations. I will talk to you in a few minutes, and you will have, well, after the stream, I'll send you all the information you need. Ah, there you go. Now chat. Perfect. Okay, so, Merry Christmas, Connie. Enjoy. I can't confirm if you're a subscriber because your subscriptions are private, but I'm going to assume if you're here early. If not, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I'm a crazy person. So we'll do Q&A. We had a question earlier that I definitely want to make sure, other than some web development type stuff or people looking forward to the program. There was one question I saw. I want to make sure I don't miss it before the spam of Dance Fish. Rescue dog treats. Bentley, will shrimp eat rice fish eggs? So what I will say is that in my experience and several other people's experience, I've asked several friends, Neocaridina, so like your red cherry shrimp, your blue dreams, all those, they're actually really, really good at preventing fungus on eggs, but do not eat the eggs. So if you stick to Neos, which are the most flexible, easy to keep shrimp for the most part, you should be just fine regardless of the size of eggs. A lot of rainbow fish keepers actually keep cherry shrimp with their rainbows to prevent for the eggs, not with the rainbows themselves. Rainbows will eat them, but with the eggs, so that they prevent fungus on the eggs, because fungus is a really common problem with rainbowfish eggs because they need very low flow. Otherwise, it can kill the hatchlings right away. So, yeah, you do just fine with like red cherry shrimp and all that kind of stuff. I was actually talking to my friend Alyssa Bentley, for those who are familiar with her channel. And she was mentioning that she had a bunch of shrimp doing really, really well in with her pleco colonies, and helping like eggs that got kicked out and stuff like that. So a little extra feedback on big golden yellow eggs from plecos. They even help with those without eating the eggs themselves. So pretty common use in a lot of like the hardcore breeders that are out there who don't have like really like Dean level fry systems. But yeah. Okay, Dr. Black's in chat. What's up, buddy? Don't forget, after this stream, Dr. Black will be going live. Make sure to check him out. This is my Aussie buddy. So yeah, at Bentley Pasco makes it really easy for me to spot your question. And even when you misspell my name on accident, which it happens, like Max Fish. Don't worry about it. I'm just joshing you. I have a Bosemani rainbow that has scales on the top of its head, white and serrated. Any ideas? So my assumption, maybe send me a picture on this Max Fish, just so if you can get one. I know it's hard with rainbows. They never stop moving. But shoot me a picture just in case. But usually when this occurs, it's typically the rainbows sparring or courting, and they don't pay attention to their surroundings, and they ram into something and hit themselves, and they do a little bit of scale damage. And it will heal. Generally, when I see something like this, usually it's on the lips, but sometimes they'll hit the top of their head or the side of the side when they're spinning around. What I like to do is put in basically a tablespoon of salt for either, I like sea salt personally, or a marine reef salt. What I actually keep is a marine reef salt around. Doing a tablespoon per 20 gallons is what I call like a super light medicinal use. It's just enough to help kind of accelerate healing. And you might try doing that. It shouldn't hurt your plants at all. It's such a light dose of salt, it will barely do anything. Just make sure you do a good like 50% water change within a week or two, just to make sure that you're bringing those levels kind of back down to their usual, and doing all of your etc. like when you're doing your ferts and all that kind of stuff. But just a real light dose of salt kind of helps heal those things up. If I see a lot of like mouth wounds on my boys because they're being dumb and ramming into stuff, I'll just dump a little salt in to help them heal a touch faster. But in general, I'll look at the video when you send it, but I would hazard a guess that's what's going on. If not, I'll take a look and we'll try and figure it out. Only because I can answer this really fast. And two of these are going to answer really fast. And then we'll get back to the other questions. So for Stephen P., is the Master Aquatic Horticulturist a Seattle-only thing? No, this is going to be an online program designed so that anyone, regardless of where your club is, if you have a club, you're in India, you're in the UK, anyone can participate. This is purposely online so that you don't have to be a local in order to do this. And there will be tutorials and stuff to walk you through how to participate. It will have a small cost. I have to work that out. But basically the goal is to make sure that the cost covers the expense of like web hosting services and all that kind of stuff. So that in the end, it's not like just draining money, if you will, right? But the goal is to make it relatively cheap for everybody, so that it's not expensive. Okay? And then second, Kanan, where are the dogs? Well, maybe if she's calmed down toward the end of the stream, I'll bring out Shantoto. Most of the other dogs are in different rooms. And that's part of a training thing we've been doing because we've had some dog fighting, but it's getting a little better. They were all young, like this rascal here and her sister, this troublemaker. Whoop. Just turned a year old 2 days ago, so they're babies still, right? We're still talking puppies. And then, of course, Papalimo This handsome little devil is just barely over a year. So he's a year and a month now. So they're really not that different in age. So there's a lot of like dominance fighting and stuff like that. But some of the fights have gotten a little rougher than we want. I've had hand wounds from them. I still actually have one that's healing because I'm getting old and I heal slow. Yeah. But they, I'll see if she's going to be good enough to come on stream. Probably not, because she was like, I was testing earlier today when I was doing some work from home stuff as my last, like, part of my last day of working for a few days. And I was kind of like not supervising her. I was supervising her, but kind of trying to make it look like I'm not paying attention to her and seeing whether or not she was going to be relatively good. So if I could just leave her out during the stream and then like call her to come over toward the end or at some point. Yeah, she was not. She was getting into all sorts of stuff she knows she's not supposed to. So yeah, she's in her crate right now, being a good girl, chewing on a bone. Because she got a little too rambunctious, because she's a puppy. Puppies get rambunctious. Oh, man. All right. Before I answer the next question, I'm going to get you guys ready. Okay, I got that one done. Gotta make some adjustments. Okay, guys. So, for the next giveaway, which is coming up at some random time, hashtag Coop will enter you for a $50 Aquarium co-op gift card. So, hashtag Coop in the chat will get you in there. Slam that bad boy in there. Even if you're an employee of the Aquarium co-op, candy overhauls. I see you, sneaky. We'll make sure that everybody can try. Alright, so I probably just like totally messed my my life up. In that spam is going to get my my questions all pushed away, but real fast. There were two I wanted to grab. So Paul Saltoro, do you have any experience with Madagascar rainbows? Yes and no. I personally have not kept them. I have friends that keep them, and I talk to people who keep Madagascar rainbows pretty regularly. They're really similar to standard rainbows. They're just closer in body shape to like a Parkinsoni. They've got that longer torpedo body or like a really big rhabdocentris. But other than that, like, you know, they get about yay. They're super easy. They're really pretty colored, especially when they're happy and in a nice planted tank. Other than that, treat them basically exactly the same as any other rainbow. Yeah, they're pretty sweet. If you have a more like specific question, shoot it in chat. I'll get it. Don't worry. Philip Kelsey, is there a dwarf angelfish? I love how they look. Don't have a large tank to support a school of normal angels. So the smallest angel you can get is the Leopoldi angelfish, which is the one that I have in the tank with Bob the Sponge. Sometimes also called the long-nose angelfish. They don't get huge, but they do have tall fins. So it depends on the size of tank. Like, you can have a small group of them in a 40 breeder, and they do well until, like, they pair off and try to breed, and then you'll have, like, two angelfish having half the tank and the others, like, all clustered in a corner, trying not to get fought with. But other than that, that's, like, the smallest you can get. They get about yay big with their fins fully extended, but really the body's only about yay, if that makes sense. They're not super huge. But they still have good size. Like, they don't get massive like some of the other angels do, but they're going to get about, 3 inches or so in the body. And that's kind of like a circle, right? Because of just the way that angelfish are designed. And then their fins are mostly long and trailing, but they'll tuck them if they have to. Ren, apparently I have a 55 tank that I recently upgraded from a 36-inch tank, looking to upgrade the light to a 48-inch to match tank length. I currently have a Phoenix Planet Plus. Is the 3.0 worth the extra cost? So, if it's the older Phoenix Planet Plus, you don't have as much control, and I honestly think that the control that you get with the Fluval is so worth it. Now, if you have one of the newer ones, what is the like HLC or whatever they have that's come out, that has effectively the same mode as a Fluval, it's probably not worth like side grading at that point. But I think if you're just a standard Planet Plus or even one of the early 24/7s, I think it's worth like getting the Fluval and then selling that used, because a lot of people will pay reasonable money for used lights as long as they're in good shape. You don't expect like close to retail, but half of what you paid for it, you could probably reasonably get that on like Craigslist and stuff like that. Or if you got a local club that does some kind of email list or something like that, like mine does, it might be a little easier to sell it within to other hobbyists and, give them a little discount. Be nice. COVID hasn't been nice to folks, but other than that, yeah, you're fine. Kevin Leong, what conditioner are you using? If you mean my hair, I actually don't condition my hair because my hair is super strange, and basically the difference between using conditioner and not using conditioner is goose egg, as long as I wash it relatively well with a decent shampoo, which I just use the stuff Costco carries. My hair is like happy and soft. It does its thing. It's just been gray forever. If you mean water conditioner, I change so much water that I just use Seachem Safe, the powdered stuff. But I used to really like the Aquarium Solutions, which is the Hikari brand Ultimate. And then like I have some of the Fritz stuff over here, the Fritz Complete. I actually like that just because it's kind of pump head and it's like brain dead easy to use. But other than that, like, I mean, they're all basically the same. It's just pick your poison, whichever one is most cost efficient for you, depending on how much water you change. If you change a lot of water, just get powdered safe and use that. It's so much cheaper. Let's see here. All right. Tanya, how many rainbows in a 55-gallon and how many females per male? So in general, I suggest 1 female per male at a minimum. I actually technically prefer 2. And that's just because I want to see like maximum behavior, and in the wild you get a lot of females out there. Also, it divides the attention that the females get, so there's less potential stress where you don't have a male or multiple males chasing the same female. If there's more females than males, and the other way you can do this is like for every 5 fish, have 3 females and 2 males. That's a really good ratio. It doesn't have to be exactly 2 to 1, but just a little bit more females than males is really good. In a 55, depending on your filtration and how many water changes you could do, I would suggest either 8 or upwards of, and this is going to sound crazy, 20, right? Now, it depends on the rainbow. If you're getting really big rainbows, like you're getting goiter rivers and turquoises, bring that number down. Look at like 8 to 10 total. If you're doing like all of the Aves Creek Bosemani, a smaller Bosemani, you could easily do 15 to 20 fish if you're doing weekly 50% water changes and you have really good filtration on the tank. It's kind of all about what your maintenance schedule is, and your plant load will determine how many rainbows you can safely keep. Just make sure you have good swim space. If you're getting smaller rainbows like Precox or something like that, you can have more. If you have bigger rainbows, do less. A safe number, I would say, no matter what size rainbow you're getting, is about that 10 to 12 range. And if you do that, let's say you do 10, right? I would suggest, me personally, all 1 species, 4 males, 6 females. Especially if you want to try and breed them. Now, if you don't care, you can do all males, and they will look relatively good, but the color will be slightly less amazing, but every fish will be colorful. You won't ever have like, you'll have 1 or 2 guys that will like flare up and be, I'm trying to tank bosses, they'll chase some of the other boys around, but you won't see like the full courting behavior and like the best possible color out of everybody. Just keep that in mind, but there's a lot of options. Courtney Johnson, I have a 75-gallon with 3 large goldfish. Uh-oh. You asked about goldfish, the guy who's not very good at goldfish. Watch out. And a couple of smaller goldfish. A 14-inch pleco. Oh, boy. I have 2 large hang-on backs and 2 large sponge filters. Black sponges and filters every 2 days. Don't understand why. Is that supposed to be blocks, the sponges and the filters? So, like, as in you're losing flow? Okay, so that would be just you have so much between plecos and goldfish create a lot of waste and a lot of detritus type waste. So what that's doing is there's just so much particulate stuff. It's like I deal with in a couple of my tanks, I have to squeeze out the sponge every week, basically at a minimum. in a much bigger tank with a bunch less fish because they just generate so much junk that it starts plugging up the sponges. Big goldfish and a 14-inch pleco create a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. So really, it's just there's so much stuff that they're creating that you got to squeeze those out. What you can start looking at doing is using a coarser sponge. So if you're using a sponge on the intake of the filters, which is what I would suggest if you're not, look at something like the ones that Co-op carries because they're a little coarser, don't get fine, and they'll pick up a lot of stuff, but you won't have to really squeeze them out like every other day. And it's going to help protect those sponges inside the filters because they're going to pick up a lot of the junk in the first place that's bigger, and only finer stuff is going to get through. So you'll probably have to clean out that outside sponge once a week or so, and then only do the internal ones like once a month. Maybe 2 weeks. Something like that. Matthew Schmidt, any update on the Fluval 3.0 stands? No. I was working on, my buddy's still moving, who does all the 3D printing stuff, and I was working more on getting the online horticulturist program running and working with interviewing devs. I put out an ad. I'm going to put this out to you guys. So when I put out an ad for devs, right, and put out the horn, if you will, I was expecting like 10 to 15 responses in the first week. I had 173. I had to wade through 173 people for the first week. And I left it up for 2 weeks before I finally went, this is too much. I had to wade through that many people, give them a basic spec of the job to get an idea of what the heck I was dealing with. And I'll tell you guys, like, I'm paying this person a reasonable wage, but there were companies that wanted to charge me upwards of $7,000 for this. Now, I'm certainly not paying that much, right? I work in tech, I understand, and it's a small-time job, but whew, there was a range of stuff, and some of them made me just go, it's like, yeah, I'm just going to let you know right now. Nope. Nope. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to get 2 more questions, and then I want to catch up on chat. So, Sohan, can you please do an update on your Gary Lang Rainbowfish, and where is a good place to buy his fish? Okay, let me answer the second part of the question. Gary occasionally sells his fish on Aquabid. He does it like a couple times a year under the name Rainbowfish, one word. Now, the best places to buy his fish, Wet Spot Tropical Fish gets them directly from certain farms that actually carry his fish. There is a farm that sells to Segrist Farms, and Segrist Farms themselves have some of his fish that they've been paying better attention to the rainbow specifically because they're Gary's line. There is also some that are being raised up by Imperial Tropicals. They should have them marked as to which ones are Gary Lang's line. Other than that, there are lots of hobbyists who have Gary's rainbows and are pretty proud about advertising that stuff. You can find them typically through Aquabid. Or you can find really, really good lines that come from some of the European guys that collect with Gary, also on Aquabid. One of the best sellers out there, honestly, for me, is Roseline 17 on Aquabid. That's a gentleman named Marcel. He is an absolute legend when it comes to being like an unknown breeder of rainbows who's well respected in the rainbow hobby. Like, if I could go to his fish room right now, I would be there. The guy is awesome, knows his stuff, and has been doing it for a while. I've bought fish from him, and I love them. They're so good. They're so good. And his shipping is fantastic. And he ships, like, all year round. And I happen to know that if you win a Dan's Fish gift card, Dan's Fish carries some that were bred by Marcel. So you can get some of those. If you look for ones that say, like, USA bred, guaranteed those are by Marcel, but you get Dan's phenomenal packaging and shipping, which Dan is the absolute master of shipping fish. So keep that in mind. Several good sources of really good rainbows. You could also look for all Oddball Aquatics on Aquabid when he sells. That's Eric Bodrock. His are almost always exclusively Gary Lang lines with very few exceptions. And those few exceptions are the European people that collect with Gary anyway. So there's your options for rainbows. I can't think of anyone else that's like a super good source online that sells Gary stuff other than like Dan has really good stuff from one of Gary's collecting partners. I think he just got a big shipment in. I don't know if they've sold out, but there's options there. Lots and lots of options. Alex Aguirre, what are your thoughts about mixing different types of neocaradinas in shrimp colonies? So if you're doing it purely for the appearance, so my friend from Shrimpy Business, Nick, what he does is when he sells a Skittles package, they're all female, so you get the most coloration possible, and you don't have to worry about crossbreeding. Now, if you've got a mix of breeding stuff, you're going to risk turning them back to wild types. They're just going to kind of come a mud brown or even clear. So if you want to keep those colors very distinct, either A, have your Skittles group be all female, or B, keep them in separate tanks for the purposes of breeding, but then you could have like a tank where your cull shrimp that are like not as great go together to just be like the Skittles mix for a display or whatever. But if your purpose is to keep like a continuous colony going, you're going to lose that colony's color by mixing them. So just keep that in mind. All right. Woo. I think it's time. I think it's time we give away that co-op gift card. Oh my goodness. And Filigree Aquatics just mentioned that Marcel sells on Get Gills too. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. But yeah. And some other ones, this is just getting mentioned, but like Aquasphere Rainbowfish, that's Ricardo. I've bought from Ricardo. He's fantastic. He also has several lines from Gary and other really, really notable people that are maybe less known to us YouTube folks, but to you like hardcore rainbow hobbyists, you know who those people are. All right. Ready? Are you ready, Freddies? Hope you got it in, because I'm drawing. All these subscription status private. Killing me with this stuff. Okay. Texas Snake. Either ID or Idaho. You have a minute-ish to respond in chat. I got to give you a little time for the catch-up because we know YouTube's behind. But you are the current potential winner of a $50 Aquarium Coupe gift card. So, make sure you respond in chat. You will then need to send me an email with a little discussion. I just want to remember, I mentioned a number earlier. Hopefully you're paying attention. What was the most I saw someone try to charge me for making the online horticulturist program? I know, I'm going to make your work because it's fun. But it's for $50, so, you know, you might as well, right? So we'll give you a few minutes. Don't worry, Priscilla. There's still more. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Give this person a few minutes. Got a timer clicking down over here, though. Oh, paging Texas. Paging Texas. Oh, there's people in chat, like, spamming the number. And chat scream at me if I, for some reason, missed that Texas Snake has responded. So you got to respond in chat or, like, immediately shoot me an email. Like, that's the other way that I know you're paying attention. For those that are maybe, like, watching on TV. My mom watches on TV all the time. And she's like, I can't hit a like button. How do I do that? I'm like, you got TV, Mom. Don't worry about it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Has Texas seceded from the Union? Give him another minute. We'll give him another minute. I'm a generous human being. It's Christmas, people. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. Eh? All right. So let's. I'm gonna go a couple of other questions. We'll give a few more seconds, and then we'll probably redraw because we're getting close to that time. Oh. Do Gary's rainbows come with a certificate of authenticity? No, just a line of crazy people who know what they're doing. John Morgan, can I get a rainbow species and quantity suggestion for a heavily planted 180 gallon with a fire eel and denison barbs? Possibly Chalatharina blaheri. Disco party, anyone? Oh, that sounds fantastic. Party animals at 180 gallon? I like it. So, again, depends on filtration and how eager beaver that fire eel is if they stay small, but rainbow should be fast enough. And how many denison barbs. So, if you have really good filtration, like let's say that 180 gallon has the akin of 2 FX6s or more with a filtration, or just a really good sump, right? I would prefer a sump because that's fantastic. I would say you are not out of the woods because blaheri do get kind of big. You are not like going crazy if I were to tell you you could fit 40 fish in that tank on top of the fire eel and the denison barbs. Just change your water at least 35% a week, preferably closer to 50. Or if you're a real stickler, do like a 20% water change every 3 days. You'll have crazy water, they'll love you to death, and they'll probably breed like crazy in that tank, but nothing will ever survive because, they'll eat all the eggs because rainbows are dumb. But I love them because they're beautiful. All right. Have we heard from Texas? Tejas, are you here? Oh man, I haven't seen Texas Snake. That's unfortunate. So let's see here. With that's gonna be a reroll. We've given plenty of time. Sorry. I love how my Nightbot's not properly working, so I could cheat and give it to anyone if I wanted to. But I won't. I'm too lazy for that. You guys ready? The reroll. We'll see if this person's here. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to do something crazy. Oh, I know this person's here. This person's always here. Oh, intriguing. Last second, Texas Snake has shown his face. Last second. That's okay. I was going to give away 2 co-op gift cards anyway, so I'm just going to give away a second one on the same tag. That way you were all entered. The snake has slithered in. So, runner-up, aka winner number 2, she just chatted, Courtney Johnson. Congrats. Over here, looking at your profile picture. Congrats. Co-op gift card number 2. That's also a $50 gift card. So again, just in case you weren't paying attention, that's $150 so far. We ain't done. So again, email me. You must email me in order to claim. All right, so. All right, so to enter the next one, this is going to be anyone, because this is going to be an Amazon card for $50. So if you're outside the U.S., you can enter as long as you have Amazon. And this is hashtag 7,000, aka how much a company was trying to charge me for doing the online horticulture program as a website. So hashtag 7Gs. Put that bad boy in there. That'll qualify for you a $50 Amazon gift card to be drawn soon. And then might even have one more. Who knows? Okay. So I'm just going to give you a heads up. I would actually be giving away $50 to redfish, bluefish, but I want somebody to be able to effectively use this on Christmas Day for themselves, and he's not shipping during the holidays because we don't want to risk any fish dying. So when he's back online, we'll probably do a different giveaway, just because I've been having fun working with Jason. Because I'm a crazy person? Up it to 7,000. Mr. Saying you're a crazy man. In theory, you can re-enter, but I really appreciate people who've already won, not trying to like double win, because let's spread the love. It's that holiday spirit of giving. Really, Mike? Okay, so Mike said that they paid $7,000 for an online saltwater breeders website, and the dang thing still doesn't work. So thankfully, I'm working with an individual dev, and if all else fails, the code will be available so that me and my like Code Monkey friends can figure it out in the background. But we just don't really have the time to dev it. We have the time to like fix it in the back end. Oh. I didn't mention this. So again, if I missed your question, repost it. Right. Dude, Jacob, are you seriously open right now? Because like I just got a haircut, but my, how to put this? At some point, I'm probably driving down toward Portland. And as long as Mr. Inslee hasn't shut you down, I'm definitely dropping in. Because finding a like proper hot shave in this area is a nightmare unless you want to pay some ridiculous amount of money. So like getting this bad boy looking super clean. All right, I'll keep it in mind. I'll get in touch with you, buddy. If I'm going down that way, I'll get in touch with you. Don't you worry. I'll be dropping in. Oh man, you got kids in school, everything? Good, man. I'll say this, like, I totally understand the necessity to be really, really, really careful when it comes to human malware, right? It's scary. It's so scary. But at the same time, it's like I have friends and even family that either work or own restaurants and bars, right? They either work in those or they don't. And like the level at which certain states, my state included, has been shutting stuff down, like the number of restaurants that have existed forever that have had to shut down permanently because of human malware, it's saddening, right? Like there's got to be some level of where we can operate and still be safe. Like restricting the number of people inside a business. I think Aquarium Co-op is actually doing a phenomenal job of this, by the way. I went up to the co-op really recently, and it's like they can only have a number of people, like parties, if they're trying to restrict it to no more than 2 people in a party, but number of people per employee. So that employee can kind of pay attention, watch what's going on, be really, really careful. And it's, man, I think that's like a really good way, but yeah, so, some of the shutdowns are just... It worries me for people that aren't in industries like mine where like we can still figure out ways to work, but like how does somebody like a hairdresser work when you can't bring anyone inside your establishment? Oh yeah, the Bay Area is like way worse, like Kevin's mentioning that. And like I'm trying not to get political. I want to be clear here. It's just one of those things where like I worry that the leadership is not paying attention to what the people need. And we could talk about this for hours. I'm trying not to be political, but man, just if you're doing okay, help out those who aren't. Right? It's like I say, I never really push my membership, but if for some reason you are a member and you're scraping by, cancel your membership to my channel. I'm not joking. Like, save yourself the few bucks. And it might be like, what's a few bucks going to help me, Bentley? And it's like, I don't know. But you know what? If that few bucks means you can help one other person get a meal that might not be eating really well, I would rather that be done than it be money in my pocket. Because I'm doing okay, right? I got a job. I'm thankful. But not Candy. We're cool here. I don't care. I'm fine with that. I care a little less. But yeah, I mean, whatever. Leadership is both sides. None of it's good. But anywho, we'll get away from that. We'll go back to fish because I love fish. Make sure that you're in there. I'm going to draw this really soon. Dr. Black, let me know, what time are you planning on starting? I just want to know how long I should or should not run. Because I'm a crazy person. I'm giving stuff away. I don't give a... Anyway, let's see here. There was a question that came up. I want to make sure I didn't miss it, other than talking about dumb stuff. WAF. When you combine forces with Bentley, Alyssa Bentley and Voltron style, will your first branded product be a water pump? Honestly, if I were ever making a branded product under like the Bentley name, whether it was with Alyssa or not, it would probably be some form of filtration. I don't know what, but it'd probably be filtration. I think there's a lot of things that some of the hang-on backs especially do well, but not perfect. Canisters especially have lots of room to evolve, technologically speaking, that would make them significantly easier to maintain, but maintain the vast capability that they have. I think Oase is like kind of on the right path, and yet not all at the same time. I think they got a decent idea, but they're missing a few things. And I haven't even like messed with it directly. Because they don't like, I'm too small for them to like give a filter to. Oh man. Okay, TA Bot, you actually just joined today. Thank you, man, for becoming a member. Fluval light suspension kits, not from the ceiling. Hard time finding one. Yeah, so like they have this weird kind of hanging kit that you could in theory like get a rail system for and hang it from a rail. The problem is it seems like it's perpetually out of stock, or they've stopped making it. I've been trying to find a way to like 3D print something, but it's a timing thing for one, and my buddy who does 3D printing is in the process of moving across the entire country, and that will take a while to settle because he also has like a 6-month-old baby. So he's a dad, he's got to work, and he's got to move from Seattle to Kentucky. He's out in the Louisville area. That's a tough gig. However, he has told me at any time I wish to visit the Louisville area, I can stay at his place for free. So at some point, I have to go see my buddy because he's one of my best friends. We used to work together. We're very, very good friends. I might be coming to Kentucky. So y'all Kentucky people, if you're near Louisville, if I ever go out there, we're doing a meetup. I gotta wait for human malware to be done so I can actually travel, but... Ooh, lordy. Okay. Impregne? I hope that's how you want that pronounced for your name. Just added a Fluval planted 3.0 onto my 55-gallon. How long should they be running at 100% if I'm trying to grow a carpet? So, if you have CO2, I would say 6 to 8 hours. If you're not running CO2, I wouldn't run at 100%, even in a 55-gallon, but I would keep that photo period kind of long. I would still look for like 6 hours of light is kind of my target, and then have your sunrise and your sunset timing between an hour and a half or so, potentially even up to 2 hours if you'd like to. But 6 hours is a really good target. You can go longer if you're like an absolute madman like me, but I would like ease into that. Paul Soltero, what's up, buddy? Jacob becoming a member. Hey, buddy, thank you. The Madagascar showed up on my LFS, and I was looking for an interesting ditherfish for my excess male cribs. Well, I mean, one, the Madagascar rainbows will eventually get slightly bigger than a crib as far as length is concerned, but not in overall body size, if that makes sense. Like, cribs are pretty bulky fish. They're tough, angry suckers. But they're super fast, and they would make a reasonable dither. You might also look at something like giant danios, just because they're super common, they're crazy fast fish, and they're relatively able to do with all sorts of things. But Madagascar rainbows should work. They're pretty quick. I mean, they're like torpedo size, or torpedo-shaped fish. So they're pretty fast. Make sure if Dr. Black responded to me. What did you say? I'm scheduled for 1:15. Ha ha. Okay, let's do this thing. Hopefully you've entered. See, I'm not giving like extra time. I'm just drawing these things. But we're going to give away the Amazon gift card. This one's eligible to anybody outside the United States too. Hope you got it. Hope you're in there. Oh, I know this guy's in chat. Definitely subscribed. He's getting that Amazon money. Mr. Fish, sir, you've won a $50 Amazon gift card. Congratulations. Make sure you shoot me an email. You know the jam. Shoot me an email. It's all you. Merry Christmas. Last one. You ready? You ready? You thought I was done. Crazy people. Gotta put the keyword in there. Boop. It's going to be a short one. So for the 180 of you currently in here, this will be another $50 gift card to Dan's Fish, because I like Dan. Hashtag rainbows. Get it in there. Get it in there. We'll draw that thing in 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes. Last one for the night. Another $50 on me. This is my way to say thank you. We had 9,000 subscribers, by the way. If for some reason, in the next, week and a half before the new year, if we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a Fluval 3.0 Lite. Or it's US dollar equivalent for me to buy on Amazon if you're an international person. That'll get done in the start of the year. If for some reason in the next week and a half we hit 10,000 subs on this channel. So remember, share it to grandma. Jonathan, do you recommend adding oyster shell to an aquarium? So, oyster shell is the same as adding crushed coral. It's just going to add calcium and buffer some general hardness into your water. If you have very, very soft water, then yeah, totally putting calcium in is great. It helps stabilize the water. It does all sorts of awesome stuff for you. Oyster shell can be, depending on your area, especially if you have like an Asian market like H Mart out here or Wajimaya out here, for examples. There's tons of them, right, that are out there. It can be very easy to get them. However, if you get them, I would make sure, unlike crushed coral, that you really thoroughly wash it. Okay? Just to be safe, thoroughly wash it. Priscilla. What are you doing? Thank you so much, Priscilla. Or should I say, no, Priscilla. Thank you. Faux radio voice with my, like, pipes that I've been screaming at stuff for too long today. All right. So, yeah. But no, calcium is great if you have soft water. If you have really hard water already, you probably don't need it unless you typically have calcium issues in your plants. Like you have lots of curling plants, that's a calcium deficiency, then adding a little calcium passively to the water can help you a ton. But not always. Well, I could, Dr. Black, I could go like internacional, right? Go Spanish with it. I did take 4 years of Spanish. Jerry, Bentley, do you know how I could take down a 60-gallon tank with hundreds of shrimp efficiently without killing a ton of babies? Oh. So the way that I would do this is, there's some really great tutorials online that I would look up. Look up a shrimp trap. Look up for like a Neocaridina shrimp trap and start using food to bait your shrimp into specific places, into those traps, so that you can remove the bulk of them very simply through using a trap. Now, it's not like snails where it's really hard for them to get out. Shrimp can get out. However, if the food is there, it's a lot easier to get them out. The other thing I would say is that if you drain the water down quite a lot and force them into a specific area of water, and this typically requires you having the tank empty, and then just the substrate layer, right? But what you can do is you can dig a pit in one corner very carefully, right? And remove a lot of that substrate. and create kind of a high wall, bowl, or dome area. And then as you drain your water down, the shrimp are inherently going to move to find more water. And you can get them and trick them into that divot where you've made that big bowl. And then what I would do is I would get a relatively large net that fits that area. Hopefully, if you can bury out a square area to make this simple, that's going to help you a ton. Get a large net and then use one other net to chase them into the static net. Shrimp will always move backwards when they're running away from things, typically. So if you put something scary like a hand in front of them and get them to jump backwards into a net, super easy, instead of chasing them with a single net. The two object tactic is really good for also catching fish, especially troublesome fish like rainbows, who are super freaking fast. But that would be my best advice. Otherwise, I totally understand, like the babies and stuff. It's a nightmare. One weird trick would be, as you're draining water, have that water go through a net, so that if you have shrimplets or something get caught, they get caught in the net. It might sound weird because there's going to be this continuous pounding amount of water potentially, but if you can diffuse it a little bit in some way, shape, or form, it will save you any lost shrimp. But that's kind of like advanced tactics as opposed to just generically draining the water high where they're going to avoid it, or put a net over the intake is what I actually like to do when I'm dealing with like my baby guppies, because that's where my shrimp are now. I just get a fine mesh bag and I put it over the top and rubber band it in place so they can't get up through there. Another way to make sure that all your shrimp stay in the tank. And then dig that pit out, trap them in there. Easy peasy. Or at least easier. Very impressive. I could probably do way more Elvis-y with my voice, but that's because I grew up on Elvis courtesy of my father. He was still is a massive Elvis fan. So, like, I grew up on Elvis and the Beach Boys around my dad. Those were his jams, and I listened to a lot of that stuff. And the other thing you could do, kind of just thinking about this, because Mr. Singh's talking about it too, get a really big net, right? Go buy one of those big, huge nets that's like this. Lay it flat. Put food in the net. Come back 10, 15 minutes later when they get there. Pick net up. Shrimp are in it. Then cap it and move. You can try doing that a couple times. It might be a really good way actually to move your shrimp. It's a kind of a different style of trap. Different style. Not bad. Works, though. All right. Oh, wait. Did Joel show up? Joel, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. I actually, like, casually peeped in on your video earlier today. I didn't have time to comment, though. I was still at work. But it was a really good video about Rotala rotundifolia. I love that plant. You did a good job of basically saying everything you needed to on that bad boy. Is that really where the Priscilla name came from? She's a big Elvis fan? That's fantastic. I think we need some more, like, cooler OG style names around. There's too much, like, modern weird stuff. Or just, like, Tylers and Justins. No offenses to the Justins and Tylers. I've just seen them. I grew up with a million of them. I knew 7 Tylers all in the same grade of high school. So nuts. All right. So, last call. Hashtag rainbows in chat. A $50 gift card to Dan's Fish. Last one for the night. Don't forget, Dr. Black will be up in roughly 5 minutes. Check out his stream. Go say hi to my Australian buddy. And not too long, considering how long we've all waited, we'll have a skeleton together of the Master Aquatic Horticulturist program. I'll probably be using fantastic people like Corvus Oskin in chat as guinea pigs to make sure it works correctly. But yeah. Oh my goodness. Brian K, what's up, buddy? Merry Christmas and thanks for all you do, Bentley. Little one's bedtime makes it hard to watch anything 7 to 10, so I'll make sure to watch the replay. Well, then, just in case, we're getting this bad boy done now. Just in case you won, Brian. Ooh. Ooh. So, do y'all believe in fate? Do you? I want to ask you this. We'll talk about some Elvis nonsense. Texas, we'll get in chat. I see you. And you're going to hear this. For me, you will need to email me, all you winners. Do you believe in fate? We'll talk about Elvis and all this nonsense. I gotta type this out to be official. Dang. Priscilla of the MK Art Variety. You've won $50 to Dan's Fish. It's a little spooky, isn't it? A little spooky? Come on. You gotta admit it, right? Gotta admit it. Little spooky. We're talking about it. Bam, she wins. Does anybody else think that's a little weird? Anybody? Like it's rigged. Nightbot. I can't. I suppose the smart thing would have been to set up a thing to show Nightbot, but I'm lazy. I also set up this thing 10 minutes before it started. But yeah, congrats to all the winners tonight. Make sure you email me. Get your gift cards. Sounds rigged. Jacob, sounds rigged. Oh, man. So, we got Priscilla and Connie to Dan's Fish. We have Courtney and Texas to Aquarium Co-op. Pretty good. And then, of course, our $50 gift card to the Amazons to Mr. Fish, sir. So, shoot me your emails, guys. Everybody. Billy, how many submarines do you currently have? Lumpy Dog, I have 300. You meant actual ones, not sandwiches. None. I want one. That'd be cool. Glitching worse than Cyberpunk. It's funny. People are complaining so much about Cyberpunk. I've only encountered one bug. Yeah. I will repost my email real fast. bentley.pasco@gmail.com. Oh, wait, we aren't voting. Again, just shoot me an email. Hopefully I hear from you soon. I would like to be able to get those to you so that you basically can give yourself a Christmas present from me. For tonight, Pete and Jacob, new members, thank you so much. Brian K. and Priscilla, thank you so much for the super chats. And T.A. Bot, depending on pronunciation, for upgrading from AutoSync to Pseudo McGill. Thank you so much, folks. Ooh, Xbox One, that's why. To be fair, I am doing this on a ridiculous PC, so, But I've been enjoying it a lot. It's very fun. Next up is Dr. Black 66. Candy has put the link in chat. Go check him out if you want to keep rolling on the fantastic stream train. I will see you guys next week. It'll be our last stream for the year. And if stuff goes really crazy, we'll be doing some other stuff. So, guys, thank you so much. Look forward to the program. It is coming. The dev is hired, contracted, starts this weekend. Can't wait to give you guys updates. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas. And stay awesome. End stream, YouTube.